Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. I know this isn't my typical setup. I'm not with my computer right now. I'm actually out and about. So yeah, I've been seeing this question floating around TikTok. People doing their versions of it or answering it the way they think. And I just seen one with the Schuler King. And so it made me want to go ahead and make this video. So the question comes out is, it's from Dream Chasing Mike. He asked the question, I think 100 ninjas could beat one gorilla. Everybody just got to be dedicated to it. So it made me think about it, I know it's just for fun, just to get people thinking. A lot of people are saying that the gorilla would destroy all the humans, all the men. And I'm like, yeah, if they, you got to think of it in different ways. If you think about it just flat out, okay, yeah, if everybody attacks at once, no chance in hell. It's just a straightforward question. So, similar to the whole, would you rather be in the woods with a random bear or a random man? Women always pick the bear. So in this instance, 100 people basically versus one gorilla. So if you think about if they're armed, it doesn't say about armed, unarmed, stuff like that. If they're armed, like with actual guns, the fight would last about 2 seconds. Think about it. They would just line up, firing squad style, light up the gorilla, done. Like bows and arrows, it would take about a couple minutes, done. Chainsaws, spears, sticks, rocks, they could win, if you think of it that way, axes. But if it's just straight up hand-to-hand combat, you can do it. I'll go for the men. The men will win, but there's a way that you got to do it. For me, I'm thinking about it, somewhat logically. So I did some research on it, differences between the man and a gorilla. So the gorilla, just an average gorilla, going law of averages here. The average gorilla's strength is 4 to 27 times that of a man. So their body weight, average, silverback gorilla is 400 pounds or 181 kilograms. So you look at it theoretically, the gorilla can roughly, lift, move around 4,000 pounds, in theory. Their bite force is up to 1,300 PSI. That's 1,300 pounds per square inch. And think about it this way, a pit bull, 300 PSI. So a pit bull can latch onto you. It's not going to break anything, roughly, the average man. However, 300 PSI, if it bites onto you, it's going to bite your arm off, if you look at it that way. Average speed of a gorilla is up to 25 miles an hour or 40 kilometers per hour. Their average height is 5'6". That's when they're on all fours. And that's when they're at their most, volatile. But, if they stand on their hind legs, when they're at their weakest point, you can stand upward of 6 foot, 8 inches tall. Arm span up to 8 feet 6 inches. So that's from fingertip to fingertip. Okay, the human or man, average man strength, it could do 225 squat, or that's roughly 160 bench. Think of it that way. Average weight of a man, this is American standards, 197 pounds or 89.3 kilograms. So it depends on which part of the world a person's from. It could be bigger, it could be smaller. We're going by averages here. Bite force of a man, 160 to 180 PSI. Average speed of a man, running, 5.06 miles an hour to 9.06 miles an hour. Average height of a man is, average height of a man is 5 foot 8 inches tall, 176, centimeters. Average arm span for a man is 16.53 to 18.89 inches per arm. Add them two together, think of it that way. So the thing is, with advantages over the gorilla or the silverback, I would say it goes to the man just because, we have superior intellect or wits. You got to think about it. Men have been the dominant force on Earth for thousands of years now. So we've pretty much taken at all, forms of life if we needed to, for food, shelter, whatever. So you got to put that up there as far as one of our advantages. Superior communication, we can group think. So 100 men randomly. So, you know, some may speak Spanish, some may speak English, some may speak another language. You know, you get them all together, arm signals, just like in the military, combat, you know, think of it that way. Better endurance and stamina. Think of it, you know, gorilla's bigger, more muscle. More muscle equals you're going to be tired faster. And so we're thinking of the average man isn't going to have that much muscle. So if you're thinking of just above average man, you know, the bodybuilders, stuff like that, they're going to have more muscle. They'll be somewhat stronger as well. So if we're going by those averages, you know, and if we're attacking waves, not all at once, you know, tire them out, you know, weaken them, then we have the advantage. You know, the strategy would be, like I said, you know, tire them out and then you can destroy them. So the thing you're going to want to do is you want to circle them, but not to the point where you're really that close, because you're going to play keep away or, you know, pretty much alternate, you know, try to, you know, force him, you know, get up there close and pull back, but not within to where he can actually grab you, because you got to keep the gorilla, you know, distracted at all times. Make him constantly, you know, if he goes for one, 4 come up from behind. He's going to attack the bigger threat, which would be the 4. He would change his mind and go to the 4. They pull back, and then another come from a different direction. And same thing, just keep repeating that, doing that. Since we have the numbers, we would outlast him endurance and stamina-wise, so he'll tire faster. You know, it's not going to be a quick fight. You got to think of it this way. It's going to be a couple hours, if not an entire day. But we can go longer than he can. So we keep alternating, you know, go up, you know, pull back, go up, confusion, you know, distraction, tire him out. And then once you get to that point, then, you know, somebody's going to have to bite the bullet. You know, that's what comes to that communication, that group think, you know, go up there. Someone's going to have to go for eyes. Someone's going to have to, you know, try to pin him down with the arms. Again, he's stronger physically. But when there's more of us, you know, pin him down, become a nuisance to, you know, we can hold his arms. Because if he gets us, you know, within a bear hug, we're gone. There's going to be a couple, if not more than a couple, that's going to end up biting the bullet, you know. But in the long run, we'll outlast him. We'll overpower him. Like I say, blind him, choke off his air supply. Because once he's blind, you know, gouge his eyes out. It's going to, you know, somebody's going to die. You know, it's going to be a couple, somebody's going to die. But gouge his eyes out. Like I said, then he's going to be blind. And then, like I said, wear him down, going for the kill. Like Maximus says in Gladiator, unleash hell. That's my take on it. I know it's all in fun, but thinking at this point, I'm pretty sure I put money on it that we'd win. You know, let me know your thoughts, comments down in the, you know, comment section. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up. Let me see how you would think about it. Peace.